oh. And then it became a thing of like, oh.
Jesse said the same thing twice in a row. He seemed to have rehearsed saying that with maximum drama, but didn't create the effect he wanted the first time, so he went back to saying it 6 seconds later with that extra drama he planned.
It's not necessarily that you don't believe that this is the truth. You don't even want to see the truth.
Did you notice how often Jesse says the word truth? Someone who lies will often say the words true or truth a lot. Since they're not telling the truth is constantly on their mind. Also, since they're feeling insecure that they're gonna be found out, they are overcompensating for the lie. Saying the word over and over is to verbally convince through repetition so they can get the other person to buy into what they're saying.
What happened that night, Jesse?
When I landed in Chicago, and Frank Gatson, who's like my uncle, and he's also my creative director, and he picked me up. And then we got back to the apartment. There was no food. And so I went out to Walgreens thinking that they were 24 hours and to have a smoke. Walgreens was closed. So I called him up and I said, hey, I'm gonna run to Subway, which was across the street. And I'm gonna get a salad. He wanted it. I went to the Subway and got the order. During that time, I texted my manager thinking that he was still in Australia because he was on an Australian tour with one of his other clients. And I said, yo, call me when you can. He called me immediately. And while he was on the phone, I heard, as I was crossing the intersection, I heard Empire. I don't answer to Empire. My name ain't Empire.
Jesse gives a combo lip bite and a break in eye contact. When he starts telling the attacker part of the story, the lip bite indicates insecurity of holding back information, and the break in eye contact not being truthful.
I don't answer to Empire. My name ain't Empire.
Also, you're alone on the street at night, and someone says a word that you associate with. In Jesse's case, it's Empire, the name of his TV show, and you're not gonna look to see what's going on and why that was shouted?
And I didn't answer. I kept walking, and then I heard Empire. So I turned around and I said, did you just say the name?
Jesse's not a gangster or a rough and tough street guy. He's wearing crispy clean white Gucci sneakers and skinny jeans. It doesn't make sense that a normal person, when verbally assaulted from behind, will go right back at them verbally without knowing what kind of crazy person is standing behind them, or what possible weapon they may have. Throughout this, we'll notice that Jesse is a good actor, but a horrible writer.
This witness indicated that she heard nothing at the time of the staged attack, despite the fact that defendant Smollett told CPD detectives that his attackers were yelling racial and homophobic slurs at him, and he in turn was yelling back at them.
And I see the attacker masked, and he said, this MAGA country punches me right in the face. So I punched his ass back.
Jesse sucks in his lips, indicating holding back information. In conversation, we subconsciously suck in our lips or purse our lips sometimes when we're holding back something. Also, is this how Gucci Smollett thinks street fights go? I'm gonna punch you first, and then it'll be your turn to punch me back if you so choose. If this was a real fight and he did fight back, it would all be a mix of pushing, punching, and wrestling. Any possible first punch from Jesse would be indistinguishable in the mix.
And then we started tussling. You know, it was very icy, and we ended up tussling by the stairs. Fighting. There was a second person involved.
The staged attack was to take place near the stairs on the southwest corner of New and North Water Streets.
Who was kicking me in my back.
These two bodybuilders were his attackers. If he was attacked by two guys this size, he would have many broken bones, and his face wouldn't look the same.
And
notice the pause. People who lie will pause more often because they're trying to weave the lie part of what they're saying in with the known truth.
then it just stopped.
It's a miracle! They just randomly stopped beating on Jesse. Not because the police arrived or a good Samaritan came over to scare them off. They were just like, okay, well, that's enough. Let's go home. They didn't take his wallet, his cell phone, or even his Subway salad.
And they ran off. And I saw where they ran. And the phone was in my pocket, but it had fallen out. It was sitting there. And my manager was still on the phone. So I picked up the phone and I said, Brandon. And he's like, what's going on? And I said, I was just jumped.
With all that supposed verbal assault and the sounds of real fighting between three men, Brandon just says, what's going on? That doesn't make any sense. I'm sure if there was all that yelling and real physical fighting, Brandon would have heard it through the phone. A normal response would be, are you okay? Do you need help? Should I call the police?
And then I look down and I see that there's a rope around my neck.
It's not very possible for someone to slip a noose over your neck and not know it. Also, if a person is tussling, squirming, fighting, and moving around, it would be very difficult to even slip that over someone's head.
Which I hadn't.
You hadn't noticed it before?
No, because it was so fast. You know what I'm saying? It was so fast.
How long did this all...
It felt like minutes, but it probably was like 30 seconds.
The stage attack lasted 45 seconds, and it was just outside the view of the desired nearby camera.
45 seconds or even 30 seconds with these two guys? And Jussie has no broken bones? He just has a few bruises and a little scratch on his face?
I noticed the rope around my neck and I started screaming. And I said, there's a rope around my neck.
Jussie Smollett took advantage of the pain and anger of racism to promote his career. Why would anyone, especially an African-American man, use the symbolism of a noose to make false accusations? How could someone look at the hatred and suffering associated with that symbol and see an opportunity to manipulate that symbol to further his own public profile?
Did you get any kind of description of the attack?
I gave a body description and I, because I saw this, right here or whatever, but I didn't see, I can't tell you what color their eyes were. I can't tell you, and I did not see anything except the second person I saw running away. And the first person, yeah, I saw his stature. I gave the description as best as I could. You have to understand also that it's Chicago in winter. People can wear ski masks and nobody's gonna question that.
Did you notice how Jussie diverted? He was asked about his attacker's appearance, but then starts talking about how wearing masks in the winter isn't abnormal. He doesn't want to talk about the way his attackers look because that's dangerous territory for him. He knows that the police already have some security footage of his attackers, and he doesn't know how much information the police have now or how much they will have in the future.
The police have gone through a lot of video and they were able to capture an image of two people of interest. Have you seen that image and do you believe that they could possibly be the attackers?
I do.
What is it about their size or why do you feel that they could possibly be?
Because I was there.
Again, diverting from talking about any specific features of his attackers, and even implies that it's stupid to ask him questions like that, hoping she'll stop asking him questions about his attackers.
During Smollett's interview on ABC's Good Morning America, he identified the people shown in the still of that surveillance video as his attackers. Also during that interview, Smollett indicated he was positive these were his attackers. The two men in this video are, in fact, the Osundairo brothers.
For me, when that was released, I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. I don't have any doubt in my mind that that's them.
Did you notice that pause? That indicates one of two things. He either doubts that's them, which probably isn't the case, or he's a little apprehensive to say that it is them, which makes sense because if police tie that photo back to his two friends, he's then found out.
One of the brothers worked on Empire, so they had a relationship and association.
Police confirming the men who have since been questioned and released have a relationship with Smollett. One even appeared as an extra on Empire.
If there's any justice, we'll have that conversation.
Authorities tell us the brothers claim they were paid by the actor to orchestrate and stage the racist, homophobic assault.
So he probably knew that he needed somebody with some bulk, and he knew them. They had a previous relationship, so that's probably the only reason he chose that.
Why did you hesitate to want to call the police?
You know,
It's actually likely getting the police involved was never part of the plan. He probably knows once the police get involved and file a police report, it becomes illegal. Jussie probably didn't want real detectives looking into his little fake attack. He was probably hoping the media and most people wouldn't question him and just feel sorry for him and believe that he was this tough guy fighter.
There's a level of pride there. We live in a society where...
Tears up again so he can appear more authentic and appears to use how he feels people think he's weak to get tears to come out. For whatever reason in his past, he seems very insecure about his physical toughness and strength.
As a gay man, you were considered somehow to be weak, and I'm not weak.
I'm the King Tupac.
I am not weak.
I'm the King Tupac.
And we, as a people, are not weak.
Notice how much he talks about how he's not weak to overcompensate for this likely insecurity. Jussie feeling that others always think he's weak seems to have been a secret driving reason for him staging this attack.
So, I mean, I can accept that there was pride there. There's also privacy. You know, at the end of the day, look what has happened. You know, look what has happened. So, I'm glad that Frank called the police.
I'm the one who called 911. I'm the one who took him to the hospital, and it was so scary, man. That was a scary night.
Can you head over and check in a Bear report? The system has it as Lower Northwater, but the address is doesn't have a last name on the cell phone regarding a friend that was assaulted and battered when he walked out of his apartment. He's supposed to be well-known requesting reports, so the noose was placed over the friend's neck. EMS is refused and said the apartment's next to the Lowe's Hotel.
But I'm glad I'm the old man that was at his apartment when he got there, and I was responsible. You know, I said, let's call the cops, let's go to the hospital.
I'm glad that we reported it during that time before they came. It took them about maybe half hour to come. And during that time, I was looking at myself, just like checking myself out. I saw the bruise on my neck, you know, like the little, the rope burn around my neck. And then I smelled bleach. I know the smell of bleach. And I saw on my sweatshirt, it had marks on it, like spots on it when you have a bad bleach job. So then I was like, there's bleach on me too.
There was a change in the plan in that bleach was going to be used instead of gasoline.
So when the police came, I kept the clothes on. I kept the rope.
So you had the rope on the entire time?
I mean, it wasn't like wrapped around, but yeah, it was around because I wanted them to see. I wanted them to see what this was.
The actor in him surely wanted to show off the drama of wearing a rope around his neck. Someone would normally feel so belittled with a rope violently put around their neck. Typically, after an attack, people want to remove what they were wearing and shower because the physical violation makes them feel like they're dirty. Not Jussie, he didn't even take off the rope.
I told them what happened, everything. I also asked them to turn their body cams off.
Jussie probably saw my Chris Watts Getting Caught police body camera video, which now has almost 20 million views. He knows if I would have gotten that police body camera footage, we all would have had a field day on this channel, laughing at him and calling out his lying body language.
Because they were trying to stay in the hallway. And I was like, please just come in. Like, I don't want a big scene with my neighbors and with like the second round of police officers. I went down to where it happened and I walked them through exactly what happened. And I looked up and I saw that there was a camera directly on the light post that is in the intersection. So I'm like, there it is.
I think that they knew where that one camera was, but unfortunately it didn't capture the event. So I believe that Mr. Smollett wanted it.
The control point is being contested.
Unfortunately, that particular camera wasn't pointed in that direction.
And then the detective told me that the camera inside of the casing was facing north. So they didn't find it. And that was disappointing.
It took place right there. So of course it was staged.
The vast majority of people have been supportive